My girlfriend casually told me not to come to the office party because she didn't like people seeing me with her. I said, all right. Later, I went to the same party with a friend, but I acted as if I didn't know my girlfriend at all. When she saw that unexpected scene, she finally realized my value, and she was completely shaken. When she came home, she saw a box placed on the table and panicked. Crying, she called me and said, "What have you done? Please don't do this." My name is Nathan Brooks. I'm 31 years old, and I work as a financial analyst for a mid-sized investment firm in Boston. I've always been the kind of guy who keeps his head down, does his work, and doesn't ask for much. I'm not flashy. I don't wear designer clothes or drive a sports car. I live in a decent one-bedroom apartment in Cambridge. I cook my own meals, and I save more than I spend. My father taught me that real wealth isn't what you show, it's what you build quietly. So that's what I've been doing for the past 8 years since I graduated from college. I met Valentina Reed 2 years ago at a networking event downtown. She worked in marketing for a tech startup that was just beginning to get some buzz. She was stunning, blonde hair, sharp blue eyes, always dressed like she'd just stepped out of a magazine. I was surprised when she gave me her number. We started dating a few weeks later, and honestly, for a while, it felt perfect. She was ambitious, funny, and we had great chemistry. Or at least, I thought we did. But about 6 months into the relationship, I started noticing things. Little things at first. She'd change the subject whenever I mentioned meeting her coworkers. She never posted pictures of us together on social media, even though she posted everything else: her morning coffee, her workout selfies, her brunch with friends. And whenever we went out with her friends, she'd introduce me as a friend, or just by my first name, never as her boyfriend. I brought it up once, casually, after we left a bar where she'd done it again. "Hey, you know you can call me your boyfriend, right? I mean, that's what I am." She laughed it off. "Oh, Nathan, don't be so sensitive. It's just weird to label things in front of people. It makes it feel so formal." I let it go. I didn't want to be that guy who overthinks everything. But deep down, it bothered me. Then came the office party incident. It was a Thursday afternoon, December 12th, around 3 p.m. I was finishing up a quarterly report when Valentina texted me. "Valentina, hey babe, there's a holiday party at my office next Friday. Company rented out this rooftop venue downtown. Should be fun." Me, nice. "What time?" "I'll clear my schedule." There was a long pause. The 3 dots appeared and disappeared a few times. "Valentina, actually, I think it's better if you don't come." I stared at my phone, reading the words over and over. "Me, what do you mean?" "Valentina, I don't really like mixing my work life and personal life, you know? Plus, my boss and a lot of senior people will be there. I just want to focus on networking." "Me, networking?" "Valentina, it's a holiday party. And I'm your boyfriend." "Valentina, I know, but honestly, Nathan, you're not really the type that fits in with that crowd. No offense. You're great, but they're all very image conscious, and I don't want them getting the wrong impression about me." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Me, the wrong impression? What does that mean? "Valentina, you know what I mean. You dress kind of plain, you drive that old Honda, and you're not exactly flashy. These people judge everything. I just don't want to deal with it." I sat there for a solid minute, reading and rereading her messages. My hands were shaking. I'd been with this woman for 2 years. I'd supported her through job changes, family drama, everything. And now she was telling me I wasn't good enough to be seen with her colleagues. Me, all right. That's all I said. "All right." She sent back a heart emoji and said she'd make it up to me, that we'd do something special the weekend after. I didn't respond. I closed my laptop, left work early, and drove home in silence. When I got to my apartment, I just sat on the couch staring at the wall. My phone buzzed a few times, Valentina sending me random memes, asking what I wanted for dinner that weekend. I ignored all of it. Update 1. I didn't tell Valentina how much that hurt. In fact, I didn't tell her much of anything for the next few days. I was polite when she texted, short when she called. She didn't seem to notice. She was too busy talking about what she was going to wear to the party, who would be there, and how this was a big opportunity for her to impress the new VP. Meanwhile, I called my buddy Cameron. Cameron and I went to college together, and he worked in tech sales. He was the opposite of me, loud, confident, always the life of the party. I told him what happened over beers at our usual spot in Somerville. "Bro," he said, setting down his glass and staring at me in disbelief. "She said what?" "Yeah, She basically said I'm not good enough to be seen with. Man, that's cold. That's like, next level cold. What are you gonna do? I thought about it for a moment, swirling the beer in my glass. I'm going to that party. Cameron's eyebrows shot up. Wait, seriously? Yeah, but not with her. I'll go with you. She works at Helix Digital, right? You know people there. Cameron paused, thinking. Actually, yeah. I worked with their sales director, Preston, on a deal last year. We're still cool. I can get us in. Perfect. Let's go. Cameron grinned. Dude, this is savage. I love it. But what's the plan? You gonna confront her? No. I'm just going to show up, act like I don't know her, and see how she reacts. If she's embarrassed of me, then fine. Let her see what it's like when I'm not there playing the supportive boyfriend in the background. Man, I'm here for it. Let's do this. The plan was simple. I wasn't going to cause a scene. I wasn't going to confront her. I was just going to show up, act like I didn't know her, and see how she reacted. If she was embarrassed of me, then fine. Let her see what it's like when I don't exist in her world. Over the next week, I focused on work. I hit the gym harder than usual. I got a fresh haircut, and I pulled out a tailored navy suit I rarely wore, a gift from my late grandfather who believed a man should always have one good suit. I paired it with a crisp white shirt and the vintage Omega watch he'd left me. When I looked in the mirror the night of the party, I barely recognized myself. The party was on December 20th, 7 p.m., at a high-rise venue overlooking the harbor. Cameron and I showed up around 7:30, fashionably late. The place was packed, dim lighting, a DJ in the corner, waiters circulating with champagne and hors d'oeuvres. Cameron was in his element, already chatting up people at the bar. I spotted Valentina almost immediately. She was near the windows, laughing with a group of colleagues, wearing a tight red dress that I'd never seen before. She looked incredible, and she looked happy. I felt a knot in my chest, but I kept my face neutral. Cameron nudged me. There she is. You good? Yeah. Let's just hang out. We grabbed drinks and made our way around the room. Cameron introduced me to a few people. Turns out, he knew more people there than I expected. Preston, the sales director, greeted him like an old friend and pulled us into a conversation with some executives. I kept my distance from Valentina, positioning myself on the opposite side of the room, but I noticed her glancing over a few times. At first, she didn't seem to recognize me. Then I saw her do a double take. Her smile faltered. She squinted, tilting her head slightly like she was trying to place me. I turned away and continued talking to a woman named Kendra, one of the senior project managers. She was explaining their latest campaign, and I asked intelligent questions, genuinely engaged. I could feel Valentina's eyes burning into my back. About 20 minutes later, she walked over. She was trying to look casual, but I could see the tension in her jaw, the way her hands fidgeted with her clutch. Nathan, she said, her voice tight and uncertain. I turned and acted surprised, like I'd just noticed her for the first time. Oh hey, Valentina, right? Her eyes widened. Her mouth opened slightly. Right? Nathan, what are you doing here? This is Kendra, I said, cutting her off smoothly and gesturing to the woman beside me. She was just telling me about the campaign they launched last quarter. Really impressive stuff. Kendra smiled warmly. Thank you. Are you in marketing too? No, finance. I'm here with Cameron. He's over there talking to Preston. We're friends with some folks on your sales team. Preston invited us. Valentina just stood there, staring at me like I'd grown a second head. Her face had gone pale. You came with Cameron? Yeah. What? I didn't know you knew people here. I shrugged. I know a lot of people. Cameron's got connections everywhere. I gave her a polite nod, the kind you'd give a stranger. Anyway, nice seeing you. Enjoy your night. I turned back to Kendra, continuing the conversation as if Valentina wasn't even there. Valentina stood frozen for a few seconds, then walked away. But I could feel her eyes on me the rest of the night. Every time I laughed at someone's joke, every time I shook someone's hand, I saw her watching from across the room. Around 9 p.m., I was talking with Cameron and a couple of the sales guys when Valentina approached again. This time, she pulled me aside by the elbow. Nathan, can we talk? Outside. I'm kind of in the middle of a conversation, I said calmly. Please, just for a minute. I looked at Cameron, who raised his eyebrows. I sighed. All right, 1 minute. We stepped out onto the balcony. The December air was freezing, and Valentina wrapped her arms around herself. What the hell is going on? She demanded, her voice shaking. Why are you here? Why are you acting like you don't know me? I'm not acting like anything. I'm just here with a friend. But you, I told you not to come. And I said all right. I didn't come with you. I came on my own. Nathan, this isn't funny. I'm not trying to be funny. She stared at me, her eyes filling with tears. Are you trying to embarrass me? That hit me. I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt something break inside. Embarrass you? I repeated quietly. Valentina, you told me not to come because you were embarrassed of me. You said I wasn't good enough for your colleagues, that I didn't fit in. So no, I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm just living my life without worrying about whether I'm flashy enough for you. Her face crumpled. That's not. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. Nathan, we're done talking. Enjoy your party. I walked back inside, leaving her on the balcony. Update 2. The party ended around 10 p.m. Cameron and I left together, and he was practically giddy. Dude, her face. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. That was legendary. I didn't say much. I just felt empty. When I got home around 11, I sat on my couch and stared at my phone. Valentina hadn't texted. She hadn't called. Nothing. I thought about everything she'd said. About how I wasn't flashy enough. About how she didn't want people getting the wrong impression. And I realized something. She didn't just think I wasn't good enough for her work friends. She thought I wasn't good enough, period. I went to my bedroom and pulled out a small cardboard box from the top shelf of my closet. Inside was a ring. A simple, elegant engagement ring with a small diamond that I'd bought 3 months ago from a jeweler in downtown Crossing. I'd been saving for over a year, putting aside money every paycheck. I'd planned to propose on Christmas Eve. I'd imagined the whole thing. Dinner at her favorite Italian restaurant in the North End, the ring hidden in my jacket pocket, getting down on one knee by the waterfront, the look on her face when I asked her to marry me. Now, looking at it under the dim light of my bedroom, I just felt foolish. Like I'd been building this future with someone who saw me as a placeholder. Someone good enough to date in private, but not good enough to be proud of in public. I closed the box and carried it to the dining table. I placed it in the center, along with a handwritten note on a piece of paper I tore from a notebook. Valentina, I thought I was building a life with you. Turns out, I was just someone you didn't want to be seen with. I deserve better than that. I hope you find someone who's flashy enough for you. I'm done. Nathan. I read it twice, folded it, and left it next to the box. Then I packed a bag, clothes, toiletries, my laptop, and left. I stayed at Cameron's place in Alston that night. Around 1 a.m., my phone started ringing. Valentina. I didn't answer. It rang again. And again. Then the texts started pouring in. Valentina. Nathan, where are you? Valentina. Why did you show up tonight? You embarrassed me. Valentina, we need to talk. Valentina. Nathan, please. Answer me. Valentina, this is ridiculous. Call me. I turned my phone off and went to sleep on Cameron's couch. Update 3. The next morning, December 21st, I woke up to 23 missed calls and a flood of messages. I scrolled through them, my stomach turning. The tone had shifted completely. The last few texts were different. Valentina, I just got home. I saw the box. Valentina. Nathan, is this what I think it is? Valentina. Oh my God. Oh my God. Valentina, please call me. Please. I'm begging you. Then, a voicemail. I pressed play, and her voice came through, shaking and broken. Nathan, what have you done? Please don't do this. I know I messed up, okay? I know I hurt you. But don't do this. Don't leave. We can fix this. I swear we can fix this. Please, just call me back. I love you. I swear I love you. Please. I can't. I can't lose you. Please. I listened to it twice. Her voice was raw, desperate. A part of me wanted to call her back. But a bigger part of me knew that this was who she really was. And no amount of tears or apologies could change what she'd said to me. I deleted the voicemail. Cameron walked into the living room where I was sitting on the couch. She called. Yeah, a lot. You gonna talk to her? I don't know, man. I really don't. But I did know. Deep down, I knew I couldn't go back to feeling like I wasn't enough. Like I was something to hide. That afternoon, around 2 p.m., I decided to go back to my apartment to grab more of my stuff. When I pulled up, Valentina was sitting on the steps outside the building. She looked terrible. No makeup, hair pulled back in a messy bun, eyes red and swollen. When she saw me, she stood up fast, nearly stumbling. Nathan. Don't, I said, holding up my hand as I walked toward the door. Just don't. Please, listen to me. I was stupid. I was so stupid. I got caught up in all this work stuff, trying to impress people who don't even matter. But you matter. You're the one who's been there for me. You're the one who actually cares. Then why did you tell me not to come? She looked down, her voice barely a whisper. Because I'm an idiot. Because I thought if they saw you, they'd think I wasn't ambitious enough, or that I was settling. I interrupted, my voice cold. You thought you were settling? No, that's not what I meant. Yes, it is. That's exactly what you thought. You thought I wasn't good enough. You thought I made you look bad. She started crying, tears streaming down her face. Nathan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how to make this right. I stood there, looking at her, and I realized something. I didn't feel angry anymore. I just felt tired. Tired of trying to be enough for someone who would never see me the way I deserve to be seen. I'm not going to be with someone who's ashamed of me, I said quietly. I'm not going to spend my life wondering if I'm enough for you. You showed me exactly how you feel, Valentina. And I believe you. No, please. We're done. Nathan, don't do this. Please. I love you. I love you so much. If you loved me, you wouldn't have been embarrassed of me. I walked past her, into my apartment building, and locked the door behind me. She stayed outside for another hour, knocking on the door, calling my name through the intercom, begging me to let her in. Eventually, she left. I stayed inside, packing my things in silence. Final update. It's been 4 months since that night. 4 months since I walked away from someone I thought I'd spend my life with. I moved on faster than I thought I would. The truth is, once I realized I deserved better, it became easier to let go. I stopped questioning myself. I stopped wondering if I should have done things differently. Because the reality was, she showed me who she was. And I finally listened. Valentina reached out a few more times in January. Long, rambling texts about how she'd changed, how she realized what she lost, how she wanted another chance. I didn't respond. Not out of spite, but because there was nothing left to say. I heard through mutual friends that she quit her job at Helix Digital in February. Apparently, the pressure got to her, and she had some kind of breakdown at work. She moved back to her parents' house in Connecticut. I don't know the details, and honestly, I don't need to. I've been focusing on myself. I started going to the gym more consistently, picked up woodworking as a hobby, something my grandfather used to do, and even got promoted at work in March. My boss told me I'd been performing at a higher level, and they wanted to recognize it. The raise was significant. And a few weeks ago, I met someone new. Her name is Penelope. She's a 4th grade teacher, funny, kind, and completely unpretentious. We met at a coffee shop in Harvard Square when she accidentally spilled her latte on my shirt. She was mortified. I laughed it off, and we ended up talking for 2 hours. The first time I met her friends, she introduced me as her boyfriend with the biggest smile on her face. She didn't hesitate. She didn't look embarrassed. She was proud. That's when I knew I'd made the right choice. I don't regret walking away. I don't regret showing up to that party. And I definitely don't regret leaving that ring on the table. Because if someone can't see your value, they don't deserve to be in your life. I'm worth more than being someone's secret. In relationships, respect and genuine pride in your partner are fundamental. If someone is embarrassed to publicly acknowledge you or treats you like you're not good enough, that's a sign of deeper issues in how they value you as a person. Real love doesn't hide, it celebrates. Know your worth, set boundaries, and never settle for being someone's option when you deserve to be their priority. Self-respect isn't selfish, it's necessary. Surround yourself with people who are proud to have you in their lives, and never compromise your dignity for anyone who makes you feel less than you are.